Mic check. All right, we seem to be good. Oh boy. Does my ass make my butt look big? Anyways, where the mind goes sometimes. Well, let's talk about something. Just your average video game versus immersion and what true art would be. Like, as far as, like, where did I want to go with this? What would be the best explanation? Like, gameplay immersion. Dying Light the Beast sold 1.5 million copies. And I'm not even going to look the numbers up on The Last of Us. But even though I believe Dying Light is a better game with a better platform, a better game engine, well, why did other games outsell Dying Light? And it's not just Dying Light, but it's also, I mean, it's across every gaming developer right now that they're failing to capture the true immersion of the spirit of, like, human beings and why they even play video games. See, I believe, and I've said this for years, I've debated this, we're headed, and we're at the age right now to where it's interactive cinema. You're literally taking part in something that can immerse you to the degree of a movie or even farther. I mean, we got fucking holographic technology. You can touch people. Are you kidding me? What would Pablo Picasso or Leonardo da Vinci or Rembrandt, my personal favorite, what would these painters think if they stared at a TV screen and saw in a big picture that you could do the type of artwork, the digital creation that we can do today? What would Rembrandt say if he looked at that? And so, I mean, now granted, he's going to stick with his paintbrush because that's what he knows, and he's going to love that. That's where his passion was. What would he think about that as an agent to, like, get your point across or to display your passion? What would he think about interactive cinema, as I'll call it, in the gaming industry, and what their digital design, what they could do with it if they were truly motivated and took the training wheels off and could tell a real story with it? It's immersion versus video game. Are you just making a clunky-ass video game, or are you making an immersive game? Something that could grab somebody, like a movie. Everybody understands this, and this is my point. You could watch a movie, and movies move people. And why do they move people? Because when people watch a movie, they place themselves in the movie. The lead character is their best friend, or they envision themselves as that lead character. That's what immersive, that's what it moves them. When the movie's over, it's almost like really great movies that talk to you. You almost feel like a sense of loss when the movie's over. Man, it's over. I was having a good time. The video gaming industry lacks that to a great degree. And I'll encapsulate what I'm talking about before we move on here real quick. That hotel safe combination that I did, when I just looked it up on my phone real quick, at 761 hotel, you know, the hotel combination for the little safe there. Okay. Now, the way it was supposed to go, there's 7 pencils on the table, 6 sheets of paper, and 1 book. And that's supposed to be where you figure out the code to get that. 761. You don't even know what order it is. You're just going from the large number to the smallest. Now, that game designer, that's a specific vision that person from Techline had. And they're dealing with an intelligent person who likes, you know, they like the hard puns, like you got a book of dad jokes. They're gonna like the hard puns that nobody gets, but that doesn't speak to an audience. You got to know your audience. If you're going to immerse somebody in a game, if you want to sell 20 million copies of a video game because you believe in your art and you believe you can make an interactive cinema that will move people to the degree to, like we're talking about The Last of Us 2. So many people were emotionally tethered to that game that they blew a fuse when they killed Joel off. They couldn't stand the direction of the game. And I agree with what Troy Baker said to a certain extent when he said, if you'll just give the game a chance and be open-minded, because the vision and the storyline was good, but the way it was presented was so terrible that people literally had meltdowns, and I can't remember the name of the company right now, but that company even suffered. I mean, they got fired by Sony and then rehired. I mean, HBO had to hire them so they could make money. That's obviously their friends helping them out, because they're saying, hey, we know that you did something creative here that was misunderstood by your audience, but I mean, you got to own up to the fact that you did betray your audience when you killed Joel off. When you killed Joel off and you replaced Joel with what embodies a transgender woman, and in the heat of the politics at the time that was going on, you betrayed your audience. I mean, they need to own up to that. But, but that's not to say that they didn't have creative vision and make a good game, because they did. They told a good story. They made a good game. And I'm not here to pick out all the flaws that The Last of Us 2 had, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Back to the safe. Now, if that safe combination in that hotel was something like, 2017 or 2018, the Cubs won the World Series, the first World Series the Cubs have ever won. Okay. If you pick up a piece of paper and it's like a guy talking to his son or a wife talking to her husband that's a Cubs fan, and you read the piece of paper that I read that's like the initial clue that there's a safe in the room and how to crack the combination, and then there's, let's say that she's talking to her, her favorite Cubs fan, blah, 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 and there's a championship, world champions, a Cubs picture or poster on the wall, or he's got a bookbinder or something there that's got the 2017 world champion. Then okay, well the combination probably 2017. I know that's elementary to people, and people who are creative thinkers are going to think, well, that's too on the nose, and that is too on the nose, but it does serve as what I'm trying to get across. That would immerse someone into the game. All of a sudden, you haven't taken someone out of your game because they can't figure out a simple combination on a 3-number fucking dial because you confused everybody, and you've limited your audience to 3 or 4 people who would enjoy looking around the room and trying to figure that shit out. You're alienating the masses. So, I mean, it goes, do you want to sell 1 million copies or do you want to sell 20 million copies? How do you captivate people? How do you immerse them into your game? And like I said before, the paintbrush that's in your hand is the most ridiculously powerful paintbrush digital creation that a man's ever seen in this world. You can literally, through their cell phone, reach out and touch them. Rembrandt couldn't do that. Picasso couldn't do that. You had to go, look at the legends that Rembrandt, Picasso, and Da Vinci are, and all they did was make a painting you had to stand in the same room with to see. I mean, you are failing miserably on the aspect, not that your creativity's failing. You're excellent at what you do. I mean, these video games are some of the best designed development that I've seen. These digital developers they're excellent at their job. But what they're doing is they're alienating themselves from their audience. That's what I'm trying to say. And I would say also, I mean, hold on, let me pull this up here. The Virgin Mary in the Veiled Virgin by Giovanni Strazza. It was transported to Newfoundland in 1856, blah, blah, blah. It's on display somewhere. And it's like a Catholic church or monastery or somewhere. But Google The Veiled Virgin by Giovanni Strazza and look at that artwork. She's got a veil over her face, and it almost plays tricks on your mind when you're thinking about how he carved that veil over her face, yet you can still see her face. And there's even better artwork than that, That creativity is what I'm talking about. And, you got lightning in a bottle and you're just giving it away. You've limited your audience so much, And, with that, we'll move on. But I hope I adequately articulated what I was trying to say about how you limit your audience. Okay, for instance, let's go here. Okay. How many stadiums around your area where you live is Ice Spice selling out? Okay. How many? How many? Do your kids flip out about Ice Spice? They got to go see Ice Spice at the fucking stadium? No, they don't. Halsey. You have a good-looking, talented young woman who her fans ended up turning on her, and that's because, I mean, this is her own words, that her fans were her most vicious critics, and that's because there was no endearment to her because she came out of nowhere. She didn't earn it. Do you understand what I'm saying? She didn't earn it. No one could look at her and say, man, she walked the same steps I walked, and look at this creativity that she's allowed to bring out and put on stage from her creative gift, right? Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? And it wasn't because she wasn't talented enough. It's not because she's not good looking enough. It's not because she's not friendly. It's because they couldn't immerse themselves in her story. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you're leaving a lot of money on the table here, developers, is what I'm saying. There's ways to fix that. One way would be, in my opinion, would be adding music, because the music industry is by and large dead. People don't allow the creative people, the no-names are better. Like if you even search TikTok videos, you see creative people, kids, they call it divorced dad rock. These kids are listening to Alice in Chains Dirt like what I grew up listening to, and then they're making their own versions of old grunge and stuff, man. And they're even, you can even see there's like people now that are even covering, they're paying homage to Alice in Chains and covering their songs off that Dirt album and stuff. And I'm a Gen Xer. I was born in '77, and they call it divorced dad rock. That's where the passion is. You got away from your passion. So what I would say is you could use music as that platform, and here's what you could do. Because of the DCMAs, we're losing copyrights. Like Fallout lost the Wanderer song because their copyright or whatever, their ownership over that song to use it, their licensing ran out. So the Wanderer, right off of Fallout 4. Here's what you do. You make a video game. Okay, let's make a zombie video game. Let's use Dying Light the Beast platform. You've got a car. You turn on the radio. What are you listening to? You give these kids on TikTok that want promotion. They'll take free promotion. You tell these kids, okay, if you offer us to promote your music in our video game, and we'll add your soundtrack to our video game, but you have to sign an agreement that in the presence of this video game, yeah, I'll get to you in a second. Right now, I got to finish my thought, Willie. Thanks, though. I really do appreciate that. I'll get to it. But I want to finish my thought first so I don't lose it, because I got a crazy mind that drifts everywhere. Anyways, like when you turn on the radio, this new genre of kids that feel like they're not able to get their music out there. They don't have a broad enough audience. You could use your audience and combine it with their audience by letting them sign an agreement with you that when your video game is streamed at any point, when anybody sees it in the context of your video game, that you're allowed to use that music forever, indefinitely, as long as your video, okay, let's say I make a video game. I signed an agreement with this kid, okay, you want me to promote your music? We're going to put your music on my video game, but you got to sign off right here that you're using me as a promotional tool, and I can use your music indefinitely. You're signing away your DCMA rights. You're not signing away your rights for me to produce your music. I'm not going to make a soundtrack. It's going to be in the agreement. But all I'm going to do is promote your music with my video game at the same time. And then you pull those crowds together. Those crowds, that creative drive in those crowds wouldn't only combine, it would be a collision that would change the video game world just by adding music. Just that one thing. And yeah, Lily, I'm immersed when I play this game and I'm killing the zombies and stuff. And a big part of that is you can see pieces of them fly off as you're hitting them and stuff. And the developers did an amazing job there. So yeah, that is immersive. It's everything else that kind of deduces that. And I understand that some companies just want to make a video game. I get that. But I feel like you're missing a divine opportunity for immersive gameplay in what I call interactive cinema. I mean, like how people immerse themselves in a movie. I already talked about that before, so I'm not going to go into it again. But I mean, you could really move somebody, is what I'm saying. And I'll end everything I said with Proverbs 14:28, because you can be a king with no people. Okay, I mean, I thought, think about that. Think about what I just said. In the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. Proverbs 14:28, and I'll read the New Living Translation of that. A growing population is a king's glory. He's got a lot of people he's ruling over. A prince without subjects has nothing. So you can be a king with no place to lay your head, can't you? Can't you? You can do that, can't you? You can have what's supposed to be the biggest stage or the biggest podium on earth, which, I mean, the creative content, it comes right there. Everybody's got a cell phone on earth, pretty much 90% of the population. You come right through their cell phones. They're watching your video games on YouTube, man. You can reach 8 billion people, yet you're only selling 1 million copies. What is that? 0.0001? I mean, you got to think bigger. You got to think outside the box, man. It could be bigger. And having said that, we'll move on. I'll just get back to the video game and shut my big mouth. And I don't mean that. I mean that as a constructive criticism. I also want to say I love Techland, what they do, their gaming engine and their story, especially the first Dying Light. I was a huge fan back then. I mean, I felt like it was trend-setting and groundbreaking when the game first came out, because I felt like that first-person meleeers and shooters was a hard sell back then. Man, look at what they did. Because most people wanted third-person. That's what they were used to. Ghost Recon Wildlands was an excellent third. By the way, you know, when you're aim down sights, Ghost Recon Wildlands has an excellent gaming engine too, and they nuked their franchise as well with terrible non-immersive gameplay. But I mean, not to pick on them, I'm not picking on anybody, but when they aimed down their sights, they aimed in first person, and then when you stopped aiming down your sights, you went back to third person. That's an interesting aspect of what would make a great gaming engine. And their driving was already pretty good, though GTA has everybody beaten in the driving aspect, except for Mad Max. Mad Max ran a close second because that Mad Max combat gameplay was good. That's one of the most forgotten games that was actually good. Mad Max was an excellent game. Anyways, we'll get into the game here, and I'll quit blathering on. You know, but I just want to say I'm a big fan of Techland. I'm not picking on Techland. I'm not picking on anybody. Naughty Dog, I'm not picking on Naughty Dog, though I disagree with where they went with their storyline and the political things that they involved with their game, and the direction I disagreed with, but they were creative. They made a creative plot and stuff like that. I want to give them credit. I'm not here to attack people. I'm just talking about how the industry as a whole could grow, and if you would be more all-inclusive from the standpoint of immersion instead of politics, man, you could be trillionaires. You could be trillionaires. There's a lot. It's alienation from. Okay, I'll shut up.
Attract the beast to a train tunnel. It's not a volatile. It's smarter, faster, stronger. It attacks in broad daylight. It had me. Could have killed me, but it didn't. It escaped when an explosion collapsed the tunnel. For now, the town hall's safe.
And that reminds me that, Kapow, I forgot about what you said before when you were watching, that that red door or whatever, that piece of paper I picked up, you reminded me, and I forgot about that. I was going to say I'm going to do that immediately. I need to check that out and see where that door was. If we can go, I guess it would be in collections. It would be collectibles, or there it is, treasure hunts. A discovered yet heavily secured apartment not far from the city belfry. Looks like no one has broken into it yet. I think it's time we correct that, my dear Ron A. We'll see if I can find this, because I'm assuming that's the front door of Town Hall, but I don't know that to be sure because I really didn't take that good of a look. We'll see if we can figure out where that is. real quick before we start up. And I want to see also, I mean, is it something that I can find easily, or maybe not easily, but within reason? Is it gonna take me out of immersion looking for this? That's what I'm questioning. If I can figure out how to get out of here. Okay. Those crests too. There's like 9 crests like that outside of here in like the town hall plaza. That you shoot those 9 crests and you unlock a sword that something's holding on to out there. Man, this couldn't be more confusing if they tried, could it? Let me see what this was before we leave. Okay.